How do you learn a language if you're a shy person? Many of us out there are shy and we want to get fluent or get conversational in our target language, but it's difficult because to do that we have to have conversations with strangers, with people that we don't know who are native in the language we're learning, and it's very intimidating sometimes. In this video, I'm going to give you a few tips on how you can progress with your language learning efforts and journey despite being a shy person. I'm going to show you how you can use the 80-20 rule if you're a shy person to help you with your language learning efforts. With this rule, 80% of your time should be spent using language apps and 20% should be spent using group calls or group practice sessions or group language lessons with other people. I'll go into more detail in a sec. My name is James, I'm a native English speaker, puedo hablar español y anche posso parlare italiano. I help people reach a conversational level in a different language. Let's start with the 20% side of things. So in order to get good at listening to and understanding and speaking a different language, you have to have some sort of exposure to speaking with natives to some extent. One-to-one calls are very intense and I would not recommend them if you're a very shy person. It can induce a lot of anxiety, so the best way for you to learn is group sessions. This could be via group language lessons online. It could be say 10 or 15 people in a online session at once, or it could be in a classroom where it could be say 10 or 20 people. However, the most important thing is that you're in a group and you don't feel pressured to speak all the time. If you feel a bit anxious at some point, you can just not speak, or when a teacher asks you something, you can speak for that bit and then be quiet afterwards. You'll still get an exposure talking to other people, and that's the best thing. So there'll be other people around you who also aren't fluent in the language you're trying to learn. The key is you're all learning the same language and you can help each other in that sense. And using this method, you're still getting a lot of exposure to listening to the language and being able to speak it at times as well. But that's very important and that can help you progress more than if you didn't do anything because you're too scared to have a one-to-one chat with a native. The best option for you is going to a group call, a group chat. It might be in person or it might be online. It doesn't matter. You're still getting exposure and that's perfect for you. On that note, I've created a free email course on how to practice with native speakers in your target language. Gives you advice on how to find them and also how to make the most of your efforts practicing with them. There's a link in the description below if you're interested. And to reiterate, 20% of your time should be spent doing this because you feel more comfortable doing that as a habit, as part of your lifestyle in the long term. And consistently doing that in the long term is the key to being at a good level at your target language, as opposed to having a few goes at a one-to-one session with a native speaker and being too anxious and giving up. Your best bet is to do this on a regular basis. That's why 20% is a good exposure amount to it. Any more than this 20% and it might be too much for you on a weekly routine for you to keep up with that. So let's talk about the 80% side of things. In this part of the rule, you should spend 80% of your time learning the language via language apps. It's really a good thing language apps are invented, and especially with Duolingo and Memrise, where you can do exercises that are fun. It makes it more into a game rather than having to sort of sit down and study grammar. It makes it easier and more fun. And using language apps, they do have the ability for you to speak into it. Normally it's an AI voice recognition software, and you can press a button and speak in your own time. You're not pressured by anyone else, you're not pressured by another human being, so you can just sit back, relax, and in your own time when you want to, press it and just speak whatever you're asked to speak in the app, and that's it. And that's so much more relaxed than being forced to do a one-to-one session or practice directly with natives if you're a bit shy. With language apps, it's not just good for learning new vocabulary, you can also learn how the grammar works as well. It's incorporated into the whole system of teaching you. So that's why I'd recommend, if you're a shy person, spending 80% of your time and language learning efforts using your favourite language app. Doesn't matter what app you use because they all have the same principles included. They all teach you the language effectively. It just depends on which you prefer using on a personal level. So to summarise, use the 80-20 rule to help you reach your language goals if you're a shy person and the idea of having one-to-one sessions with native speakers intimidates you. The 80% means that 80% of your time would be spent learning via a language app of your choice. This is so you still get exposure, but you're not forced or pressurized to do something right now or to speak all the time. The 20% of it means that you should be having group language lessons or language exchanges 20% of the time. So you still get some exposure to speaking and listening to other people speak to you, but it's not as intense as if you were to speak one-on-one in a practice session that way. It's the groups, it's more relaxed. So that's it. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, please give it a like. And if you like this kind of content, feel free to subscribe. See you later.